Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Saira Mushtaba with the news at 9. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address third ministerial conference on counter-terrorism financing in New Delhi tomorrow. India committed to domestic action and multilateral cooperation on climate change, says Environment Minister Bhupendra Yadav. Filing of nominations for second phase of Gujarat Assembly elections ends scrutiny tomorrow. Enforcement Directorate questioning Jharkhand Chief Minister Hemant Soren at Ranchi in alleged money laundering case. International Tourism Mart for Northeast region begins in Mizoram. Russia and Ukraine agree to extend grain deal by 120 days. And in cricket, first T20 between India and New Zealand to be held in Wellington tomorrow. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will deliver the inaugural address at the third No Money for Terror Ministerial Conference on counter-terrorism financing in New Delhi tomorrow. The two-day conference will offer a unique platform for participating nations and organizations to deliberate on effectiveness of the international regime on counter-terrorism financing. Briefing media in New Delhi, DG NIA Dinkar Gupta said the conference will be attended by 450 delegates from 70 countries, including ministers, heads of multilateral organizations and Financial Action Task Force.
The Honorable Prime Minister will be inaugurating the conference at the inaugural session. He'll be chairing and he'll be delivering the inaugural presidential address at the conference tomorrow at 9:30. After this inaugural address by the Honorable Prime Minister, this conference is being divided into 4 sessions on different topics.
India and Australia held the 5th bilateral cyber policy dialogue in New Delhi today. It was convened under the auspices of the India-Australia Framework Arrangement on Cyber and Cyber-Enabled Critical Technology Cooperation and Plan of Action 2020-2025 for a comprehensive and deeper cyber cooperation. The dialogue was co-chaired by Joint Secretary, Cyber Diplomacy Division, Moapoi Savai from the Ministry of External Affairs. The two sides agreed to explore opportunities for further collaboration with the private sector and academia. Both the countries will jointly conduct a cyber boot camp as well as a cyber and tech policy exchange in collaboration with Indo-Pacific partners. The 6th India-Australia Cyber Policy Dialogue will be held next year. Minister for Environment Bhupendra Yadav has said that India is committed to both domestic action and multilateral cooperation on climate change. He was speaking at a session on accelerating resilient infrastructure in small island developing states (SIDS) at the COP27 summit at Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt. Mr. Yadav said India will continue to fight all global environmental concerns in the call to protect humanity's planetary home. He said the Government of India stands firmly committed to safeguarding the interests of SIDS in a changing climatic regime. Science and Technology Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh says India is fast emerging as a medical tourism hub of the world. Addressing an event in New Delhi today, he said the global medical tourism market is estimated to be worth about $72 billion. India's share is expected to be around $10 billion by next year. The minister said more than 10 lakh medical visas were issued to foreigners between 2019 and 2022. He said India's healthcare sector is expected to reach $50 billion in the next 3 years. Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal has called for self-regulation within the media and the entertainment industry with regard to content, saying in the absence of self-regulation, society will seek government intervention. Mr. Goyal was addressing the valedictory session of the 11th Confederation of Indian Industry, CII's Big Picture Summit in New Delhi today. The minister said that there is a need to make legal framework for media and entertainment much more contemporary to drive growth. He said India has the potential to become content creators for the world. LPG cylinders will soon have a QR code facility which will help regulate domestic cylinders. Union Petroleum Minister Hardeep Singh Puri said a QR code will be pasted on existing cylinders and welded on the new ones. He added that when the QR code is activated, it will have the potential to resolve several existing issues of pilferage, tracking and tracing, and will help in better inventory management of cylinders. Talking to AIR News, Chairman of the Indian Oil Corporation, Shrikant Madhav Vaidya, said, currently the facility is being implemented on a pilot basis at a locality in Delhi. It is expected that all domestic LPG cylinders will have QR codes on them over the next 3 to 6 months. Mr. Vaidya said through the QR code, consumers will be able to get information about the cylinders, such as where they were bottled. In Gujarat, filing of nominations for the second phase of assembly elections ended today. Scrutiny will be held tomorrow. Today was also the last day for withdrawal of candidatures for the first phase of assembly polls. In this phase, voting will be held on 89 seats out of 182 assembly seats on the 1st of December. 999 candidates are contesting. Voting in the second phase of assembly polls will be held on the 5th of December. Our correspondent reports campaigning is gaining momentum in the state.
The ruling BJP will launch intense campaigning from tomorrow. Party State President C.R. Patil told media that senior party leaders and former ministers, including 36 central leaders, will campaign in 82 assembly seats. The BJP leaders will address rallies and also undertake door-to-door campaigns to reach out to voters. Meanwhile, Congress star campaigner and former Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh, Digvijay Singh, joined the campaigning for the party today. Aparna Khun, AIR News, Ahmedabad.
The Enforcement Directorate ED is questioning Jharkhand Chief Minister Hemant Soren at Ranchi in a money laundering case linked to alleged illegal mining lease in Sahibganj. Mr. Soren reached the ED office amidst tight security arrangements in the afternoon. The Central Probe Agency has prepared a list of more than 100 questions for the Chief Minister in the alleged mining scam of over 1,000 crore rupees. The agency has already arrested Mr. Soren's political aide, Pankaj Mishra, and 2 others, Bachchu Yadav and Prem Prakash, in this case. Meanwhile, JMN supporters carried out a procession against the ED for questioning Mr. Soren. Before leaving for the ED office, Mr. Soren issued a letter giving details of legal mining in the state. Director General News, All India Radio, Dr. Vasudha Gupta, has been given additional charge of Director General of AIR. A 1989 batch Indian Information Service officer, Dr. Gupta has served in various capacities in the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting in an over 32-year-long career. Dr. Gupta helped in the introduction of social media platforms in regional languages through All India Radio, while she was posted as Additional Director General in AIR News. This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts. Welcome back. You're listening to News at 9. International Tourism March for Northeast region began in Aizawl this evening. Addressing media before the inauguration, Union Minister for Tourism, Culture and Dawn-Air, G. Kishan Reddy, said that the government under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi has deeply focused on developing infrastructure of the Northeast region, as without infrastructure, the tourism sector would not grow. This is the reason the Tourism Ministry is organizing International Tourism March in all states of the region. The minister said that the 3-day International Tourism March is aimed at highlighting the tourism potential of the region in domestic and international markets. He added that the march is focusing on priorities of G20 for tourism track, since India will assume a year-long presidency of the G20. Our correspondent reports that the Tourism Ministry has been promoting tourism under several schemes such as Prasad Scheme and Swadesh Darshan. Minister of State for Social Justice and Empowerment Ramdas Athawale today said that development and peace in Jammu and Kashmir is the top priority of the central government. He was on a day-long visit to Riyasi under the public outreach campaign. He said the government wants to create more employment opportunities for the J&K youth under centrally sponsored schemes. Meanwhile, Minister of State for Labour and Employment Rameshwar Telly said that benefits of developmental initiatives have been percolating down to the grassroots level in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, including far-flung Kupwara district. He was speaking at a function at Gali Zoo on the outskirts of Kupwara town under the public outreach campaign. Month-long Kashi-Tamil Sangamam began in Varanasi today. The first batch of delegates from Tamil Nadu will reach Varanasi tomorrow night. Our correspondent has filed this report from Varanasi.
Talking exclusively to AIR News, Venkat Raman, 5th generation Tamilian living in Varanasi and the youngest and also the first Tamilian member of Kashi Vishwanath Trust, said that people of Tamil Nadu origin living across the globe are very excited about this Sangamam.
प्रथम बार काशी में इस तरह का तमिल समागम आयोजन हो रहा है। हमारे काशी में जो तमिल वासी जो रहते हैं और तमिलनाडु में जो रहते हैं, इसके अलावा जो विदेशों में तमिल लोग रहते हैं, आप सभी लोग बहुत ही आनंदित हैं, बहुत ही गौरव इस समय अपने को महसूस कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि इस तरह का आयोजन पूर्व में कभी हुआ नहीं था।
He thanked Prime Minister for the event and said that the people of Tamil Nadu has ages-old relationship with Varanasi, and it is not just spiritual and religious, but also has educational and trade-related connections. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Varanasi.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will formally inaugurate the Sangamam on Saturday at the MP Theatre ground of Banaras Hindu University. Russia and Ukraine have agreed to extend the grain deal by another 120 days as the existing agreement is to end on Saturday. The deal, which was brokered by the UN and Turkey, allows grain exports from Ukrainian ports through a safe corridor in the Black Sea. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres welcomed the agreement. The deal is vital for many African countries as they face crop failure due to weather extremes and internal conflicts. Ukraine's Infrastructure Minister Alexander Kubrakov said the decision was made at the talks in Istanbul. So far, nearly 11 million tons of grain and foodstuff have been exported under the agreement. The grain export has served as a lifeline to Ukraine's crippled economy amid the ongoing conflict and has helped ease food shortages around the world. India's permanent representative to the United Nations, Ruchira Kamboj, has said that the impact of the Ukraine conflict is not just limited to Europe, but the global south is facing serious economic consequences as well. She was speaking at the UN Security Council briefing on Ukraine.
The impact of the Ukraine conflict has not just been limited to Europe. The global south is especially facing serious economic consequences. We are also seeing growing concerns on energy and food security from the conflict that follow the severe stress created by 2 years of the COVID pandemic.
Ms. Kamboj said India remains concerned about the situation in Ukraine and the targeting of civilians. She said India stands ready to support all efforts in de-escalation. Ms. Kamboj informed that India has so far dispatched 12 consignments of humanitarian aid to Ukraine and stands ready to do more. On to sports now. In cricket, India will take on New Zealand in the first T20 match of the three-match series tomorrow. The match at Sky Stadium in Wellington will begin at 12 noon Indian Standard Time. For India, some key players such as Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, KL Rahul, Ravindra Jadeja and Jasprit Bumrah will be absent from the tour. Hardik Pandya is the captain of the T20 team. For New Zealand, their all-format skipper Kane Williamson will lead his side. All India Radio will broadcast live commentary of the match from 11:30 a.m. This can be heard on FM Rainbow and Indraprasth channels. Parts of North India are likely to experience cold conditions in the coming days. Northwesterly winds coming from the Himalayas to the Gangetic Plains are expected to bring down temperatures in the areas. India Meteorological Department said the western Himalayan region is likely to receive mild to moderate rain and snow over the next few days. Temperatures in Delhi are expected to gradually drop by Saturday. In the past week, several areas of Himachal Pradesh witnessed widespread snowfall. In Jammu and Kashmir, Pahalgam and Gulmarg experienced snowfall and cold conditions. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address third ministerial conference on counter-terrorism financing in New Delhi tomorrow. India committed to domestic action and multilateral cooperation on climate change, says Environment Minister Bhupender Yadav. Filing of nominations for second phase of Gujarat Assembly elections ends scrutiny tomorrow. Enforcement Directorate questions Jharkhand Chief Minister Hemant Soren at Ranchi in alleged money laundering case. International tourism mart for Northeast region begins in Mizoram. Russia and Ukraine agree to extend grain deal by 120 days. And in cricket, first T20 between India and New Zealand to be held in Wellington tomorrow. That's all in the news at 9. Good night.